Picture this. You're at a family gathering. Someone drops it casually into the conversation. Yeah, I finally broke 6 figures this year. The room reacts instantly. Eyes widen, heads nod, a little buzz of admiration fills the air. 6 figures. The phrase has weight, like a badge of honor. For decades, it's been the financial milestone everyone chases. Cross the $100,000 mark, and you've officially made it. Or at least, that's what we've all been told. But here's the kicker. In today's economy, 6 figures is more smoke and mirrors than solid ground. It looks good on paper, it feels good to brag about, but it doesn't always translate to financial freedom. The illusion. Why? Because earning $100,000 today isn't the same as earning $100,000 20 years ago. Back then, it meant comfort, stability, maybe even luxury. Today, it often means higher taxes, crushing rent or mortgage payments, daycare costs, medical bills, student loans, and a never-ending subscription list you barely remember signing up for. It's like hitting a finish line, only to realize someone moved it a few miles down the road. The weight of inflation. Let's talk numbers for a second. Adjusted for inflation, $100,000 in the 1990s is equal to roughly $200,000 today, which means if you're earning 6 figures right now, you're basically living a lifestyle that people 3 decades ago enjoyed at half the cost. The problem isn't that you're not earning enough, it's that the buying power of your money has been quietly shrinking while prices for everything from groceries to housing have exploded. It's like being handed a golden ticket to an amusement park, only to find out half the rides are closed and popcorn costs $50. Lifestyle creep, the silent trap. But inflation isn't the only enemy. There's another villain lurking, lifestyle creep. The more you earn, the more you spend. That $100K salary that looked so massive on paper gets sliced into pieces. Upgraded cars, bigger apartments, fancier vacations, dinner out instead of dinner in. You don't notice it at first, but the lifestyle you thought was optional becomes normal. Suddenly, 6 figures feels like just enough to stay afloat. Ever notice how someone can make $50K and feel broke, while another makes $200K and still feels broke? That's lifestyle creep in action. It's not just about how much you make, it's about how fast your expenses rise to meet it. Relatability hook. So ask yourself, have you ever wondered why you hit a new salary level and still don't feel rich? Why that 6-figure paycheck gets eaten up before the month is over? You're not alone. This isn't just your problem. It's the reality for millions. And here's the uncomfortable truth. 6 figures has become less of a dream and more of a mirage. But don't worry, we're not stopping here. In part 2, we'll break down the real cost of living in today's world, show you why 6 figures is often an illusion of wealth, and reveal what actually defines financial freedom. Paper rich, cash poor, the 6-figure trap. Imagine 2 neighbors. Both earn 6 figures. On paper, they look successful. They've got the decent cars, the occasional vacation photos on Instagram, the upgraded kitchens. But peek behind the curtain, and the story is very different. Neighbor 1, $120,000 salary, but drowning in a $3,000 a month mortgage, $700 car payments, $1,500 in childcare, credit card debt, and taxes that eat a quarter of their paycheck. By the time the month ends, they're treading water, paycheck to paycheck. Neighbor 2, $105,000 salary, lives in a modest home, drives a used car, invests 20% of income, keeps expenses low. They don't look flashy, but they're building cash flow, wealth, and freedom every single month. Same 6-figure milestone, totally different reality. Why the trap happens. This is the 6-figure illusion in action. Society tells us 100K is wealth, but reality says otherwise. Here's why. Taxes take the first slice. Depending on where you live, federal, state, and payroll taxes can take 25 to 35% of that income. So your 6-figure salary might actually be closer to $65,000 to $75,000 in usable income. Cost of living eats the rest. Housing, Groceries, childcare, transportation, healthcare, and subscriptions, they've all inflated dramatically. If you live in a city, a huge chunk of your paycheck disappears the moment you pay rent or mortgage. Debt chains you down. Student loans, credit cards, and car loans quietly siphon money away every month. Even if your gross salary looks impressive, your net reality feels stressful. The grocery store analogy. Think about walking into a grocery store in 1990 with $100. You'd leave with a cart full of food, maybe even some extra treats. Walk into that same store today with $100 and you'll leave with 2 bags and a bruised ego. Now scale that up. $100K today simply doesn't buy what $100K used to. It's the same number, but the purchasing power is a fraction of what it once was. That's the illusion. Paper rich versus liquid rich. Here's the distinction most people miss. Paper rich equals high salary, expensive house, maybe a luxury car, but little liquid cash or investments. Liquid rich equals accessible wealth, cash, stocks, retirement accounts, side income streams. Which one gives you freedom? Always the second. That's why some six-figure earners lie awake at night stressed about bills, while others sleep like babies knowing their investments are quietly working for them. The middle class illusion. The truth is, the six-figure mark was once a symbol of upper middle class. Today, for many, it's barely middle-class survival, especially in high cost of living cities like New York, San Francisco, or Los Angeles. Consider this. Median home price in many US cities is $400K to $800K. Average childcare can run $15K to $25K a year. Healthcare premiums plus out-of-pocket costs can easily hit $10K annually. Suddenly, that six-figure salary evaporates before you even factor in groceries, gas, or the occasional night out. A story everyone knows. Let's make it real. Picture a couple in their 30s. Both partners are working, combined income $180K. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the breakdown.
Mortgage, $36,000 per year.
Childcare, $20,000 per year. Taxes, $45,000 per year. Car payments plus insurance, $12,000 per year. Food and groceries, $15,000 per year. Healthcare, $10,000 per year. Subscriptions, travel, gifts, and life stuff, $15,000 per year. That's $153,000 gone out of $180K, leaving them maybe $27,000 in wiggle room for savings, emergencies, or investments. And that's in a good year, without a major car repair, medical emergency, or job loss. So are they rich? On paper, yes. In reality, they're one layoff away from panic. The brag versus the reality. This is why six figures is more illusion than reality. It feels good to say, it looks good in headlines, but the freedom people expect from it often never comes. It's like winning a trophy for a game you don't realize is still going. You hold it up, everyone claps, but deep down, you know you're still running just to stay in place. Why this matters. So why should this bother you? Because chasing the wrong milestone wastes your life. If you're aiming at six figures as your finish line, you're playing by outdated rules. True financial freedom doesn't come from salary milestones. It comes from how much of your money is working for you when you're not working. So if six figures isn't the answer, what is? What's the new definition of wealth in today's world? And more importantly, how do you flip the script so that your money gives you freedom instead of stress? That's what we'll unpack in final part, the real formula for freedom, liquidity, cash flow, and choices. Redefining wealth, from six figures to true freedom. So far, we've pulled back the curtain on the six-figure illusion. We've seen how inflation, taxes, and lifestyle creep can turn what looks like wealth into a monthly scramble. But here's the good news, you're not stuck in this trap. Because being rich isn't about hitting an outdated number. It's about creating a life where you have freedom, options, and peace of mind. So let's flip the script. Step 1. Redefine what rich really means. Forget the old definition of success: hit 6 figures, buy the house, upgrade the car. That's the treadmill. Real wealth isn't a salary milestone. It's the ability to control your time, to walk away from a toxic job, to pay for emergencies without panic, to take a vacation without going into debt. Ask yourself, if my income stopped tomorrow, how long could I keep living my life comfortably? That's a better test of wealth than any paycheck number. Step 2. Focus on liquid wealth. Your house might make you look good on Zillow, but it won't pay for groceries. What matters is liquid wealth, the money you can actually access when you need it. This includes cash savings, an emergency fund with at least 3 to 6 months of expenses, investments, index funds, stocks, bonds, retirement accounts, side income streams, freelancing, online business, rentals if managed wisely. When you prioritize liquid assets over status assets, you stop being house rich and cash poor and start being truly flexible. Step 3. Build passive income streams. Here's where the game changes. A salary is limited. It stops when you stop working. But passive income keeps flowing. Think about dividends from index funds or stocks, interest from bonds or high-yield accounts, cash flow from rentals if you're willing to play landlord, royalties or digital products, books, courses, content. Even a modest passive stream, say $500 a month, can be life-changing. That's groceries covered, or utilities, or your car payment. Passive income buys freedom per dollar, not just more bills. Step 4. Kill lifestyle creep before it kills you. Here's the sneaky trap again. The moment your income rises, your expenses grow to match. New clothes, nicer car, bigger house. You feel like you're living better, but all you've done is raise the cost of your own survival. The antidote? Freeze your lifestyle when your income grows. Instead of upgrading everything, upgrade your savings rate. If you get a $10,000 raise and still live the same way you did before, you've essentially given yourself a permanent investment boost. Step 5. Measure freedom, not net worth. Stop obsessing over net worth calculators that make you feel good about your car or house value. Instead, ask, how much of my wealth could I turn into cash this week? How much income do my investments produce without me working? How many years could I live if my paycheck stopped tomorrow? Those questions give you a real picture of financial security. Analogy: the museum versus the wallet. Think of it this way. Net worth is like a museum filled with beautiful treasures, gold statues, rare paintings, ancient coins. They're valuable, but locked behind glass. You can admire them, brag about them, maybe even list them on your balance sheet. But can they buy you dinner tonight? Not unless you sell the museum. Liquid wealth is your wallet. It might not look impressive to others, but it's what gives you freedom today. Step 6. Redefine success for your life. One of the biggest traps of the six-figure illusion is chasing what looks good instead of what feels good. Success isn't about impressing people at dinner parties. It's about building a life you actually enjoy. Maybe that means a smaller home, but bigger savings. Maybe it's fewer subscriptions, but more travel. Maybe it's saying no to the luxury car, but yes to early retirement. The point is, you get to define wealth. And if 6 figures doesn't buy you happiness, maybe it's time to change the scoreboard. Imagine 2 versions of yourself 10 years from now. In one version, you're making 6 figures, living in a big house, but constantly stressed about bills, repairs, and job security. You're rich on paper, but exhausted in reality. In the other version, you earn less, but you have a fat savings account, investments paying you dividends every month, and the freedom to walk away from anything that doesn't serve you. You don't need to brag about numbers. Your life speaks for itself. Which version feels richer? So here's the truth. 6 figures isn't what it used to be. It's an illusion that can keep you running in circles if you don't know the rules. But once you shift your focus from numbers on a paycheck to liquidity, passive income, and freedom of choice, that's when you become truly wealthy. Not house rich, not paycheck to paycheck rich, but life rich. And that's a story worth chasing.